there's going to be a section of this podcast that we never had before. It's going to be a brief section. It'll probably be after we vote, but it's going to be called Aubrey Fixes Creed 3. And I'm going to give you the elements that would have pushed these pieces into something Rocky fans would have been really excited about. This is me, my idea, intermingled with my Rocky friends' ideas. Like
I need some popcorn.
The people that we all, always talk about the Rockies ever since they've been, out basically. Okay, I would keep the storyline would be essentially the same. Okay, in terms of all the people would essentially be the same, and the beginning would be the same, but after he showed the gun, and the story could be chopped up with flashbacks and stuff like that out, but I'm just going to give it chronologically how I feel like it would make sense. So Dane, so we're back in the beginning of the movie. Dane pulls out the gun. He goes to jail. He's a young man and a new fish in jail. Okay, so now he's in prison on the thing. Because he's new on the yard, there are guys who test him, right? Because he's younger and he's younger. He's not as seasoned as these dudes, so they test him. They don't know he's a boxer.
Golden Glove.
He's Golden Gloves. And so he beats down 3 of them, right? Just this because the difference between a trained fighter and somebody who's it's a pretty significant gap. So you got to think, if you're able to knock somebody out with one punch, it doesn't take long for you to dispatch a couple of people before, they put you down. Off in the side, there's a guard. There's a correctional officer looking at this like he sees an opportunity. So he talks to the guy, and that fight is what extended his sentence 2 years. So that's why he ended up being in 18 years as opposed to 16. And the guard approaches him later on like, listen, you got talent, and you can either live your life worrying about fights and having to extend your sentence, or you can have this other opportunity and we'll protect you. And this introduces him into an underground boxing ring that was organized by the COs. So nobody knows that this is going on. The rules aren't there. This is just a bloody, sometimes it's bare knuckle boxing. It's just why he, for 18 years, has to fight the most dangerous people out of all of these prisons, which makes sense why he can still fight in boxing shape by the time he gets out. You know what I'm saying? And why nobody would have heard of him, because all of this stuff would have been happening underground. You understand? Like, this is all, like in dungeons, and you can see, when they're playing with the flashbacks, you can see him learning all these dirty fight moves that he's using in the, in the fights that he's in now. Okay, so story stays the same. We go and find out that he's been sending these letters. There's a better conversation about that between him and his mom. He gets the picture, and that's what he realizes what Dane has been doing, right? So he goes and he shows this picture to Drago. No conversation. Drago just takes the picture and just crushes it like, okay, so that's how we're playing this. All right. And so now you figure Drago's always been the blue collar, working class.
I'm sorry, Damien, he forgoes all history he had. I mean, Donnie forgoes all relationship history he has with Damien and goes to Drago to show that he has been betrayed.
Now, absolutely, because at this point, he's realizing that Dame has been playing him. From the beginning, him showing up, him acting like, all of that was just him playing him all the way up to orchestrate this fight. So he is furious now. You know what I mean? Like he is furious at this point, just like he was. But I'm just saying, so he goes to Drago to show him, look, this dude who broke your hand was in cahoots from the start. And Drago's like, yeah, I'm familiar with this type of game. Like this, and check. So now you got Lil Duke, Drago's now part of the team, and he realizes to train, they go to Russia. And they go to Russia and they train in the same house that Rocky was training in Rocky 4. Same low-tech situation where he's like, you know, lifting logs, so that's what's going to happen. But walking up to it, they walk into the house, and in the house is Rocky and Drago, right? So they're in the house, and they're like, I'm not, like, we're just here for support. You know what I mean? So because they're not in the main plot, but it's just like, you know, yeah, kid, you know, I'm here just to watch, you know, whatever he said. So now we got the training montages, and the training montages go through 3 times. The first time is you're seeing Dame training in jail with jail methods back in the day. Like one idea my boy had that I thought was so good was he starts punching in between the bars. And like when he first starts, he would hit his hand, but he just punches in between the bars because he's making his punches
he's got so much
precise. Yeah, and so like by the end, he could do it real fast right between the bars. And so you're seeing these training methods coincide with the training methods he's doing now outside. So like outside, he's doing stuff that mimics what he was doing in jail. And you also see these clips of these fights where he's learning all these dirty, you know, fighting techniques and all this stuff, which is what he's bringing to the fight. With that, you mix in Adonis working out with the low tech stuff, doing the same, running up hills and, you know, all the stuff that Rocky was doing. But then you hear Ivan Drago's voice over this. And he starts talking something about like if we're sending him to hell, he has to go through hell, right? And like he's talking about that. And then you hear maybe where it's like, no, it's dangerous. Like, no, like that's crazy. Like, I know we do, that's crazy. And we don't know what they're talking about, right? But then it comes in on his body and he's sitting down. And then you pan out and you see him, he's in the basement of a Siberian prison. One of these prisons with freaking like
There's so much going on. I'm
telling you,
though.
I'm almost done. But I'm saying he goes into this prison because it's like he needs to learn, he has to fight with people who have no rules. And it's just like, and Drago, the younger one, is talking to him like, yeah, we got you in here and everything, but these dudes are not cutting you no slack. Like, if you don't make it out of here, this story in some version is going to end right here. You'll either be too hurt or get killed. And he's just so focused at this point that he just doesn't, he's just like, this is where I need to be. So then we get to see him learn how to fight prison style and get tougher and tougher and tougher, right? So now we get to the fight. Now we've established what Creed has done. We established why Dame is how he is, why Dame can still fight, and we have established that Adonis, what he did to be able to combat this, okay?
Now, is the fight going to be a sanctioned fight?
Yes.
Where they're going to be using these tactics?
Let me get there. Yes.
Okay.
let me get there. So I'm wrapping up. I know I'm wrapping up, I promise. But okay, so now we know that. So now we're going to the main fight. You know what I'm saying? So now we're going to the main fight. And here's the thing. It would have been a theme that Adonis was just now ready for anything. Okay. But he knew where this fight was going to go. So he tells his daughter, he makes it so his daughter can't come to this one. Because he knows I'm about to go to a place I don't want my daughter sitting there watching. Like, I got to go to war with this dude right now. Okay. When he comes in, no entourage, no talking, no nothing. He walks in with a hood and just plays some bass heavy song. But he just walk into the ring. No talking stuff, no nothing. He's just walking to the ring like I'm about to go to work. And that is all I'm thinking about. So, and even if Dane had his whole, thing, he doesn't. Then they start boxing. And the way the arc of the fight would go, it starts off regular. He's just ready for everything. But he don't start off like that. And then Dame does something dirty, right? And now he's back in the corner, and Wood, Harris, or, Lil Duke is like saying something. And I want you to imagine this in Avon speak, not Little Duke speak. And he's like, hey, this ain't boxing right now. This ain't boxing. This is a street fight. And like he's getting him like so hyped. And he goes in there, and then for the next 8 rounds, these dudes destroy each other. I'm talking about in a way we have never seen. He's fighting dirty. Both are fighting dirty.
But the refs allow this.
Let me just finish, and then I'll answer whatever holes you got. The ref, Adonis does something dirty. The ref saw it, and then Dame is like, ref. And then the ref was like, you can't be serious. You're like, I just seen what you did too. So if it's gonna be that kind of fight, y'all have that kind of fight. You know what I'm saying? And so the ref is backing off because he realizing that's what it's gotta be. Like, that's the only way. And so the whole time, Wood Harris is hyping up. This ain't about boxing. This is about who and him, who's better, just whatever he's saying. But here's the thing. At the end of the 11th round, that's when he actually, imagine how he could start using some of the same blocks that dude was using. He's doing some of the same, jail stuff that he was doing. And it's blowing his mind because they were in Russia. He don't even know where he's learned all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so after that, after the 11th round, he's almost got Dame all the way done, but he still lasted to the 3rd round. And what Wood Harris says right before that last round is, now you can box him. And then he comes out and just takes him apart with the sweet science. You know what I'm saying? It just knocks him out, ends it. And so at the end of it, it's still the boxing that, and look, at the end of this fight, these dudes are they're worse than any other fight in the whole franchise history. He's in the hospital. He's got the stuff going on. Beep, beep. He's conscious. And then they bring in his daughter, right? And the whole thing, he didn't want to expose his daughter to this. He didn't, this is too much for her. And he's sitting there and she's in there, and we think subtle acting. You think she's about to break, right? And then she just signs, you don't look that bad. You know what I'm saying? So now, and it's like he almost laughed, he realized his daughter is a fighter. Okay. Yeah. Then you skip to 4 months later, they're still kind of in wheelchairs or whatever, but then they have the same conversation, word for word, that they had at the end in the locker room. They have the same conversation. And after that, the montage, the way it ends, is you see you see the different families together. You see Felix with his mom. You see Rocky with his son and his grandson, and you see like Drago with his father, and at the end is him.
And we asked his wife. Got it. Okay.
Which is
Married
yeah,
to Drago.
Drago
Okay.
got Brittany. Yeah, okay. But look, but at the end, it fades out with Creed and his family like playing in the living room, stuff like that. Then it just fades out. So that would have been the Creed.
Rewrite. You heard it here.
Yep, Ryan
Coogler
Coogler.
brothers. Act like you know.
Ryan Coogler, get
Act
Aubrey
like you
into the writer's room for if
see
you want to
any
do
of
Creed
these
4.
things in here, we're suing for $1 billion because of everything that was just said.